On the side, I have been working on a web application that tracks information about everyday items one would possess. It displays all items recorded into an account while allowing information about a specific item to be entered or updated. The focus of this portfolio project is on the application's backend implementation and use of containerization. To give some background, apps.NET Core MVC was adopted as it is a popular industry solution for dynamic web applications. The MVC template improves the project scalability thanks to separation of concerns, which compartmentalizes the arrays of views, controllers, models, and data transfer objects. C# was used for the programming of the backend and in generating HTML content using Razor, while the front-end interactivity and styling were applied with JavaScript and Bootstrap respectively. Docker simplifies the deployment of web applications, and through Docker Hub provides a range of database service images relevant for this project. Git is the source control solution. Its use followed the Git flow branch model, and the repository is held on Bitbucket. Also from the start, Jira was the choice of project management service, and it integrates well with the other Atlassian software being SourceTree and Bitbucket, where it tracks commits and facilitates pull requests and merging. And Visual Studio was used as the IDE. Docker Compose launches and sets up the relationship of multiple containers from a single command and is configurable through Docker Compose scripts. Although such deployments are confined to a single host, this is ideal for this project. Such configuration also allows the establishment of volumes so the containers can be stopped and restarted without any data loss, and the management of user secrets to prevent them from being exposed in code and in source control. Firstly, let's look at how users are authenticated. The entered username and passwords are checked to determine if they exist and match. And as we see, the SAM account does not exist, so we will register it. The username, password, and confirm password fields require input and are restricted by a range of validation rules, such as the password fields must match and contain alphanumeric characters, symbols, and upper and lower casing. We log in with the new account and succeed. Logging out is also supported. Here is an account made earlier. As we can see, this one holds a collection of vases. The user authentication and authorization adopts the entity, user, and identity role implementations with an entity framework context, which will be covered more in the next slide. Common validations, as shown with the password fields, were introduced with the data annotation attributes, while in the view, the validation message and summary helper tags are utilized to display the warning notifications. The controller actions are secured with authorize attributes and respond with content only belonging to the authenticated user. Regarding the architecture for the features I showcased so far, the client communicates to the container that hosts the web application, and in turn, for login and registration processes, references an SQL database hosted by a separate container. SQL provides a relational database solution, ideal for managing user login records as they each will include the same fields or columns. And of course, passwords are stored in hash form. In this empty account, we can add new items, and remove them too. Clicking an Edit button, we can enter the details of our new item. Fields include the name of the item, its description, category, possession, and location of the item. The thumbnail will be explored later. A rating about an attribute of the item can be added. I create a condition attribute. I can rate it from 1 to 5, and as the item is in a moderate condition, I give it the rating of 3 out of 5. Additional attributes can be included and any can be removed. Details about the item are reflected in the item's profile. Fetch API was leveraged in the item record edit view to automatically send data to the server when the user unselects a field. This makes the UI interaction appear seamless to the user as the web page does not require refreshing. Also removes the need for a submit button, making adjustments to a large collection of fields more practical to the user. and more performant for back-end processing, as the entire form does not have to be resubmitted for single field edits. Such API works asynchronously to prevent the main thread being blocked from request operations and impairing UI responsiveness. And partial views enable the UI to interact with database value changes without the web page needing refreshing. For this functionality to operate, the web application must communicate to a MongoDB container, which sustains a non-relational database that tracks the item records. Particularly due to the inclusion of attribute ratings, the variation of fields between the item records would make the relational database approach problematic to scale, hence the non-relational database is used. Additionally, adding and removing fields is more practical with this kind of database, especially as entity framework migrations can be completely avoided. In the shoe item record created earlier, a PNG image can be uploaded to visually represent the item. I selected an image of shoes. Here the image also is displayed in the item's profile. This feature requires an additional container running a Minio service, which operates as a bucket where the web application can access images to display on web pages. As images can be large, they can impact the read-write performance of databases they are stored on. Hence, such files are contained on a bucket and is separate from MongoDB. For future implementations, the Minio bucket can be used by the web application to support other dynamic features that rely on large files. The item record thumbnail service involves the Minio bucket, where the thumbnail images are referenced with keys which are recorded in MongoDB under the relevant item record. When needed, the web application utilizes such key to obtain or update the thumbnail for sending or retrieving the image in data URL form to or from the client respectively. Including both models and DTOs helps this, as the data is stored differently to how it is transported. There are a selection of refinements to this project that can be incorporated that would be necessary if this was developed in an industry setting, but concentrating on the backend, involving a test-driven development approach from the start, although takes more time in initial development, will invite measures to confirming the operational status of functions and features, important for recognizing how secure the application's endpoints are. Although HTTP connections are suitable for communications between containers held on a secure network, HTTPS would be required if containers operate across networks, such as the Internet. For version control, and as the project can be broken down into reusable services, using submodules can enable other projects to leverage such systems in a practical way that allows updates to be integrated. Microservices offer a range of benefits to web applications that are becoming cloud native, which applies to this project also, as the individual components of the system can work with multiple instances to address fluctuations in operational demand, referable to as elastic horizontal scaling. Such system can be designed to be fault tolerant and function even if some components are unavailable, thus limiting disruption. New components and features can be introduced without needing the whole system to be redeployed, therefore aiding agility in the software development lifecycle. Implementing the microservices architecture for this project would require container orchestration to manage the execution of containers across multiple hosts. An example of container orchestrator is Kubernetes, which is ideal for deploying large-scale cloud-native applications. Thank you for watching. I hope this inspired you, and I hope this demonstrates the kind of expertise I can bring to an ambitious organization desired to expand their technical capabilities. For more information, and if you want to reach out, links to my portfolio and LinkedIn are in the description.